Oh yeah,
Let's do this thing, man. You got the intro ready? Let's do it.
let's do it. Welcome to the podcast. My name is Jaaron. I'm here with my good friend Zach. Uh, this
Hello.
this is our podcast where we spend about an hour of our lives every week discussing, debating, and ultimately ranking movies of different categories. We are not professional critics. We don't claim to be the smartest moviegoers. We're just two friends who grew up together and love talking movies, which makes us just a couple of average jives.
Yep, jive ass turkeys. That's what we are.
Yep, that's right.
So, what are we doing this week, Jaren James?
So this week on task is our favorite childhood movies. Now,
And we
to
kind of,
start,
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
well, to start things off, I think this is a tough go for the first time because our childhood differed in the different movies that we watched. So
Yes, we've.
I think this might be one of the toughest of the rankings that we go upon because we each have different nostalgias, we each have different memories of these movies, and so on and so forth.
That we do. We figured that out once we started giving each other our list. Yeah, and some of them aren't very. How would you say childlike? I guess a little
We will
darker,
definitely
but
get into that.
yes, yes. Oh.
So, for our first time listeners and our first time pod, um, to go over quickly how it runs, Zach and I will each introduce five movies that we picked for the week. And then once we're done kind of describing them and going through them, we will dive into the ranking process that we've established.
Sounds good.
All right. First things first, Zach, start us off. What do you got
You would
first,
like
man?
me to start off? Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Very gentlemanly of you. Very gentlemanly. I got
very
Hook.
demure.
Yeah, yeah. I got Hook. 1991, directed by the great Steven Spielberg, which by then he had already made a number of huge hits by 1991, including obviously Jaws, E.T., the Indiana, all three Indiana Jones. By then it was only three, but it's based on the J.M. Barrie's novel and play about the famous tale of Peter Pan, screenplay by Nick Castle, who wrote the John Carpenter films Escape from New York and Escape from LA with Kurt Russell. Co-writer credit to Jim Hart, whose biggest hits were probably Contact, that starred Jodie Foster and Sahara, and both those movies starred Matthew McConaughey. Hook stars Robin Williams, Dustin Hoffman, and Julia Roberts. The tagline to the movie was basically, what happened if Peter Pan grew up? And what happened is Captain Hook kidnaps Pan's children, which forces Peter to return to Neverland and find the Lost Boys, his children, and the childhood he left behind. Oh, it's that'll be the final showdown between the newfound Pan and the infamous Captain Hook. It was actually kind of difficult finding positive reviews for Hook, surprisingly. So I'll just mention that it was one of the top 20 highest grossing movies of 1991, and it was nominated for 5 Academy Awards, if that means anything.
Wow, terrific. Dang, that is a fantastic intro to the
was,
movies.
was that a little
Um,
long?
no, I loved it, and I just feel like my intros will not be as succinct, but we'll shore
Oh,
that up
who
over
cares? Who
time.
cares? Yeah, yeah, it'll be
Yeah, we'll
alright.
shore that up over time. My first movie is Jurassic Park, again
Mm-hmm.
directed by our very own Steven Spielberg.
Yes, sir.
Came out in 1993, starring Sam Neill, Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum, and Richard Attenborough, with also a young Sam Jackson and Wayne
Mm-hmm.
Knight. Based
Nice.
on the same titular novel as the Michael Crichton book, Jurassic Park. It is about a wealthy industrialist that invites three scientists to sign off on his new type of amusement park featuring live dinosaurs. Adventure turns to mishap when a park employee disrupts the security fences, which leads to a fascinating survival journey off of the island.
Nice. All right, man. I got next on my list is The Princess Bride, 1987, directed by Rob Reiner, who directed a lot of hit movies of many genres and was supposed to direct, and I think you'll appreciate this. He was supposed to originally direct Shawshank Redemption, but other things happened. But you might know him better, Jaaron, from the guy that directed A Few Good Men.
Oh, definitely. He's one of my
Yes.
favorites because of that. And he also started the production company that produced all of the Seinfeld series, which I
Oh,
know you
shoot,
are a
man.
huge fan of. Yeah, Castle Rock.
Yeah, Castle Rock. That's it. That's it. Yeah, yeah. I did not know that he did that. I knew about the Castle Rock thing. I didn't know about the Seinfeld. I didn't know how it related to Seinfeld, but yeah, the moving on, the screenplay was by another name you're familiar with, William Goldman, the great, one of the greatest screenwriters ever. Uh, his
Indeed.
he's got 2 Oscars from Butch Cassidy to Sundance Kid and All the President's Men, as well as we found out doing practice pods. He also wrote Maverick, personal favorite of me and Jaren's.
Yeah, and I think he did a couple of revisionists to a Good Will Hunting, which apparently in the first couple of screenings or first couple of testings, they had an entire second half of the movie where Goodwill Hunt or well where Will Hunting and Ben Affleck were being chased down by the FBI, and
I
William
remember hearing that.
Goldman's input to that was, "Hey, cut out the whole FBI thing and just have it be about Will Hunting."
Yeah,
So I think that that kind of proves right there he was a genius.
yeah, yeah, he was. And it's starring Carl Ewells, Robin Wright, uh, Mandy Patinkin, who made a career off mostly doing TV shows, including his Emmy-winning performance on Homeland on Showtime, and also good old Andre the Giant made a nice cameo. Summary for the movie is a farm boy leaves his home and his true love, returning as the Dread Pirate Roberts once he discovers his love has been betrothed to Prince Humperdinck, who has alternative motives for the marriage. And I got a critic from Time magazine listed this film as one of the best of 1987. Richard Corliss of Time magazine also said the film was fun for the whole family. Whatever that means. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, bring your grandpa, bring your
Yeah,
daughter, bring your loved one.
absolutely.
You'll all laugh at it. Next on my list, Hocus Pocus
Mm-hmm.
came out in 1993, directed by Kenny Ortega. Not much to go on this movie as it is it is a children's movie.
Mm-hmm.
Screenplay is not anyone to be note of, and my favorite Robert Ebert gave it a single star.
Ouch.
Said the effects, characters, and plot are all tossed into a confusing cauldron with great activity but little progress. So not
Shoot.
not a great review by my guy Raj.
Nah.
The movie stars Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Najimy. I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name, but I know she went on to star in My Big Fat Greek Wedding and
Mm-hmm.
subsequent sequels. About the movie, the new kid in town accidentally awakens a trio of witches in Salem who drink the souls of children in order to live longer.
I was a pretty big fan of it when I was a kid, so it's not a
Yes.
bad movie. I mean, the it kind of sucks. The critics didn't like it all that much, but I remember enjoying it a lot when I was younger. So,
Yeah, it's definitely still a go to every year when Halloween comes around for me.
oh yeah, it's a must. Yeah, I know my family watches it regularly, traditionally every Halloween. All right, man. Moving along on. This is the movie where we'll discuss. It's not really a childhood. It's not a children's movie, and that's Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, 1991, directed by Kevin Reynolds, who also directed a Costner movie a few years later called Waterworld. You may have heard of it. Written by the writing pair. Uh, his name's Penn Demsham and John Watson. This was the biggest movie they wrote, and then they kind of went on to make TV shows all TV shows that were based previously on movies: Poltergeist, The Magnificent Seven, Carrie, and The Twilight Zone, whatever.
Hmm.
Starring Kevin Costner, Morgan Freeman, Mary Elizabeth. How do you say that, Jaaron? Mastrantonio?
Master Antonio.
Master Antonio. That's right.
Master Antonio. Love her.
Yeah. Oh, she's great. She's great. Alan Rickman and Christian Slater. The plot of the movie, it's just based on the old Robin Hood tale, but I wrote down the nobleman turned thief who robs from the rich and gives to the poor seeks to avenge his father's death by the hands of Sheriff of Nottingham and uncovers the sheriff's treason against King Richard the Lionheart. This is from a critic from the Washington Post. Fair damsels and noble sirs, you must free yourselves of these worrisome observations. This is a state of the art retelling of a classic.
It is something else of a movie. Again, we
Yeah.
will dive into the childhood aspect of that as we go along this pod. But I have to
Yeah.
say, Alan Rickman is on one in that movie, and like I
Yeah,
said,
he's
we'll dive
great.
deeper into that in a little bit here. But yeah, very very entertaining sheriff of Nottingham.
Yes.
Next on my list, the animal classic Homeward Bound
Hmm.
came out in 1993. It stars Michael J. Fox, Don Ameche, and Sally Field as the voices of the three animals involved in the story. It was directed by a guy named Dwayne Dunham, who I had never heard of, but also went on to direct Little Giants and Halloween Town, which was a Disney TV movie that I
Nice.
was pretty fond of back in the day.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, it was,
No,
it was a TV Disney movie, but
Halloween
it was
Town.
entertaining
Yeah.
when I was 9 years old or so.
Yeah. Yeah.
The story is about two dogs and a cat that set off through the wilderness after they think they've been abandoned by their family. Not much to go on in the way of reviews or critically acclaimed status, but Roger Ebert, my boy, did give it 3 stars.
Nice. That's a good
In
review
a
from Roger.
part of his review, he said, I quote, I asked myself what I was doing watching this movie, and a funny thing happened. I got hooked by the story. So childhood movie, kind of a goofy voiceover, but
Yeah.
he was
Yeah.
also pretty surprised. He didn't do a lot of research before it came out. He thought it was going to be an animated movie and was surprised it was live action and didn't actually try to have the dogs and cat move their lips. They did
Mm,
voiceovers, so
yeah.
he was
Yeah.
actually pretty impressed by that.
Good old Michael J. Fox, Sally Field. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to miss, right?
Oh, for sure. For sure. All right. Next on the list is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the
Yeah,
1990 version. There've been a lot of
classic.
remakes since then. It was
Yeah,
direct. Yeah, a lot of them. A lot of them. It was directed by Steve Barron, who was how he's basically directed any form of entertainment you can think of: music videos, TV shows. Not a lot of features. So it was based on the comic book characters from Kevin Eastman and Peter Lard. I don't know how to pronounce it.
layered.
Screenplay. Yeah, Laird. Yeah, screenplay by Bobby Herbeck, who was actually more of a TV actor, believe it or not, than a writer, but he did write and star in The Jeffersons and Different Strokes, starring Judith Hogue and Elias Coates. Is that how you pronounce it? You're kind of a fan of his, aren't you? The guy that played Casey
Cody.
Jones. Cody, yes, that's
Yeah,
what.
big
Yeah,
fan.
yeah, and of course the Four Turtles, which I recognize one of the guys' name is. I didn't recognize his name, I recognized the face. Josh P.S. is recognizable. He plays Raphael. Then Corey Feldman is the voice of Donatello.
Yeah.
Plotline of the movie is four teenage mutant ninja turtles trained by a mutant rat befriend a journalist and fight the evil Shredder and his gang known as the Foot. Here's a little short review from the Hollywood Reporter. Story of the comic book heroes features solid animatronic effects and a straightforward approach to the superhero adventurism that would appeal to young Ninja Turtle fans. You should be pleased with this. You should be pleased to see the Terrafins brought so faithfully to the screen. I personally, I mean, I believe I got into the Turtles because of uh, the cartoon version, not the comic books. But
Yeah,
dive
same
into
here.
that.
And I think
Yeah.
actually my first introduction was the 1990 movie that we're discussing here today, and pretty dark. For a children's movie, I think that was one of the things Ebert had said was, expecting it to be kind of a more colorful and bright and kind of fun movie, and it was really sticking true to the comic books in that it was very dark and although it was funny, it's not kind of a laugh out loud slapstick kind of funny. That the number
Right.
two kind of was the Secret of the
Hmm.
Ooze.
That was a good one too, though.
Yeah, and in watching it, I thought, damn, was this a Gordon Willis picture? Did he do the cinematography? Because some of those scenes are
Dude,
just
yeah,
dark.
yeah.
You could barely even see what's going on in the movie sometimes.
Oh shoot, man, Gordon Willis. That was a good one, Jude. All right,
Next on my list, The Sandlot.
classic.
Came out in 1993, as more than a few of my movies on my list did, and I think one or two of yours. 1993 seemed to be quite the kids' movie year, and a lot to look back and kind of bring some nostalgia up when watching these
Oh,
movies.
absolutely, dude.
Starring Tom Geary, Mike Vitar, and Patrick Renna, as well as James Earl Jones, Dennis Leary, and it was directed by David Mickey Evans, a little known director. About the movie was about in the summer of 1962, a group of baseball loving kids accept a new kid in town, leading to hilarity and a climactic ending involving a feared neighborhood dog.
Hercules.
Roger Ebert kind of came through for me here with a 3-star review and said the most compelling thing about his review is the movie isn't about winning or losing, as a lot of kids' movies are based upon. It is about growing up and facing your fears.
Yeah, it's a terrific movie, dude. That one definitely brought back the. It was like that. It was I was the most happy. I was the happiest watching that movie compared to all the other ones. I mean, don't get
Yeah,
me wrong. I
I
obviously love the other ones, but that one that one hit home a little harder.
yeah, I would totally agree. It's definitely one comes up in childhood. I mean, baseball was such a big part of both of our lives growing up, and then just the camaraderie of kids, and we'll dive more into that when we get
Yeah.
to the rankings of it. But I got to agree. I think I was the happiest watching that movie. Just a big smile on my face almost the entire time.
Oh yeah, and probably one of the most quotable movies ever. Like
Oh,
seriously,
definitely.
you hear everybody quote that dang movie. So
I got a list of them to go through later. So
nice, nice. All right, dude. Next on the last on my list is Willow, 1988, directed by Ron Howard, who had two big box office hits in Splash and Cocoon prior to this film. Now he's an A-list Academy Award-winning director. The story is by the George Lucas, of course. Most people know him from the Star Wars and Indiana Jones, obviously. But here's a little tidbit. He also directed Ron Howard in American Graffiti back in 1973. So,
I know one of
little,
your personal favorites.
yeah, I do love that movie. But it's starring Val Kilmer in his first leading role, Joanna Whalley, who would eventually marry Val Kilmer, but unfortunately would divorce him later on. And
As most
Warwick
Hollywood.
Davis. Yes, it's pretty common. Very common.
Yeah.
Warwick Davis, who plays what they call the Peck, yeah, played in one of the Ewoks in the Return of the Jedi, also another Star Wars film. Just
Oh,
a quick,
wow. I didn't
yep,
know that.
yep. The story is about a farmer who undertakes a journey filled with magic uh, and danger in order to protect the chosen baby from an evil queen with the help of a great warrior. Michael Clark in the USA Today wrote that the rainstorm wrap up, in which good edges evil, is like Led Zeppelin meets the Wild Bunch. the film is probably too much for the young children and possibly too much of the same for cynics, but any 6 to 13-year-old who sees this may be bitten by the movie bug for life.
Hmm. I have to admit, I had not seen that until we discussed this, that we'd be discussing it about this pod. And yeah, interesting movie. Very interesting movie. We'll get more into that once we start diving into these things.
I'm kind of
It
looking
was
forward
not
to it, dude.
one that I had watched when I was a child. I had always heard of it, but my parents didn't introduce it to me. And as a child, it's just kind of, unless you're into something like the Turtles and it's a worldwide phenomenon,
Hmm.
that's something if you're introduced to, you're into it. But I was never introduced to it. So I just recently watched it as an adult, which may be the reason that I have a different take on the movie than you.
Yeah. That's all right, dude.
And then wrapping it up here with my last movie, the classic Home Alone,
Hmm.
released in 1999 or released in 1990, starring Macaulay Culkin as Kevin, Joe Pesci, Daniel Stern, John Hurd, and Catherine O'Hara, who people may know now from Schitt's Creek.
Yeah, that's right.
Directed by Christopher Columbus, who
Hmm.
is kind of a household name in some households. Also directed Home Alone 2, Mrs. Doubtfire, and was the writer of Goonies and Gremlins. This
Oh,
movie was
nice.
written by the great John Hughes.
Mm.
Any 80s movie fan is familiar with his name, who also wrote The First National Lampoon's Vacation, Christmas Vacation, 16 Candles, Breakfast Club, and Ferris Bueller's Day Off, as well as many others. It was nominated for 2 Oscars: Best
Hmm.
Music, Original Song, and Original Score. Most people already know this movie, but it is about an 8-year-old that is accidentally left behind during a family Christmas vacation. 2 robbers who are staking the family home get more than they bargained for when Kevin defends his house with a barrage of booby traps. And as always, all of my abouts are straight from my brain. So hopefully that's a little bit it's a little different than what you would maybe read on IMDb. My guy Roger Ebert gave it 2.5 stars, which I thought was a little bit surprising for me
It
because
is,
of
dude.
how
Yeah.
successful this movie was and how beloved it is by kids everywhere. An excerpt from his review: because all plausibility is gone, we sit back, detached, and watch as stuntmen and special effects guys take over the movie. So not exactly what 10-year-old Jaaron would have liked. Not what I would have said about the movie, but looking back at it as an adult, it is a little far fetched. All of the antics that Kevin's able to do by himself as an 8-year-old
Yeah.
against
Yeah.
2 grown men.
It's all right, dude. It's still it. I mean, it's still a damn good movie, in my opinion.
Yeah. Also, another one I revisit every year around Christmas time. So
It is.
it's
Yeah, that's a lot of families have that as a traditional Christmas movie.
yeah.
And
So two of the movies on the list, I do revisit once a year: in Hocus Pocus during Halloween and Home Alone during Christmas time. So
dude, could we a little factoid about Christopher Columbus that he was originally supposed to direct Christmas Vacation, but him and Chevy Chase did not get along. So obviously
yeah,
the studio sided with Chevy because he's the star of the Vacation franchise. So yeah, that was just I saw that on some documentary about the movies that made us on Netflix. I think that's where I heard that. But
little factoid about it, and
yeah,
Chevy Chase, famously such a nice and friendly guy to everyone he works with, right?
yeah, yeah.
For those who
He's
do not know about sarcasm, that is a very sarcastic statement by me. Chevy Chase is famously considered an asshole by pretty much everybody he worked with, and got into a lot of spats with people throughout the years. So, not
yeah,
surprising to hear that if he didn't get along with someone, they weren't going to be involved with the picture.
Yeah, very difficult to work with. Let's put it that way. I mean, personally, I don't know, but that's what
Yeah,
I've heard.
considered a comic genius. I love all of his stuff, but behind the scenes, maybe a different guy.
You bet it against Rocky and Rocky 3.
Yeah.
little from the film Dirty Work, just a little movie quote. But well,
Before we move on to the rankings, I do want to mention a couple of honorable mentions that I had here. Being as it is a live action childhood movie pod, there were a lot to consider and a lot that I passed over that, um, you know, if we were rethinking, might have added a few of these onto it. But I have a list of The Mighty Ducks, which is a classic live action children's movie. Three Ninjas, which I found just to be rewatchable as hell as a little kid. The Goonies, Heavyweights, which you and I
oh
quote
yeah, dude.
quite a bit
Yeah.
back and back. Little Monsters, which is another kind of a dark movie, but it was from my childhood. And Tremors, which probably would fall under the category of the Robin Hood Prince of Thieves. Not really a children's movie, but I did watch that movie constantly when I was a kid. Um, so yeah, just wanted to mention those before we moved on here because I feel like they're notable, and someone listening
Oh,
might
for
think,
sure.
"Hey, what the hell? What about Mighty Ducks? Who doesn't have that on their childhood movies?"
Well, yeah, the Mighty Ducks and the one that I was going to mention that I completely forgot about after I'd already given you the list of movies was Encino Man. That was a movie I watched a lot with Pauly Shore,
Nice,
Sean Astin, and
yeah,
Brendan Fraser. Yeah, that I remember watching that one a lot when I was a kid.
and
And of
then
course, like
Little
like you,
Giants as well for me.
yeah, that one too. Like you said, live action. We'll get to the Disney
Yep,
animated in another episode later on down
yeah.
the road. So,
And then speaking
well,
of Rick Moranis and Little Giants, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, which honestly I didn't even think of until right now.
the one that you mentioned that
So
I completely forgot about that I know I watched a lot was uh the Three Ninjas. I completely forgot about
yeah,
that movie, dude. I completely forgot about
yeah.
it.
It's good. I think I watched it a couple years ago just because it was streaming somewhere and I saw it. I'm like, hey, nostalgia, a little childhood
Oh yeah.
coming up in my feed, so I might as well watch it. And yeah, obviously not as funny as when I was a kid, but the burglars and everything with the laxatives and the
Oh
Pepsi, and
shit.
it
Yeah.
just it's
Yeah.
pretty funny movie. Looking back on it. So all right, time to dive into our rankings, Zokel.
Yeah, dude.
This is gonna be an interesting one.
Well, do you want to go first? You want to do 10 and 9 quick?
Yeah,
I think they
yeah.
should be
So I
obvious,
think
but
you could.
we'll see. We'll see.
I think you could probably guess my 9 and 10 here. Rounding out the bottom of the list is Willow,
What?
and number
No,
nine,
you
Robin
did
Hood,
not,
Prince of
dude.
Thieves.
No, you freaking did
Yeah,
not, dude. How could you? Is it
yep.
because they don't look like kid movies? Because there ain't no way Hocus Pocus is a better movie than Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
It is
No
not a
freaking way,
child
dude.
movie. It
Yes, it
is
is.
not
There was
for
an
kids.
action
It is.
movie, dude. It's the Robin Hood tale. It's just a
I
modernized
get it.
version of it.
Yep. And you know what? They really played upon the part that it was more of an action and not at all that it was for children. In the
Oh,
first scene, Zach,
sorry,
the
man.
first scene, there is a man being whipped with blood running down his back, and then 2 seconds later they cut someone's fucking arm off.
Well, it was his hand, but it wasn't
It
that
like
bad. I mean, I'm just
they
saying.
don't they don't show it either, but
I
it's like, oh,
didn't.
we're gonna cut it off. And right when watching it, I'm like, wow, Zach's childhood. I'm gonna have to rethink my entire friendship with this guy.
Oh, it was not
Yeah,
that damn bad. When you think about it for the quality of the movie, it is a good, better movie than both Homeward Bound and Hocus Pocus. That is beyond ridiculous, dude. And dude, don't tell me that Willow isn't a kids movie. Don't you dare say it isn't, because it definitely is a kids movie. 6 to 13
I
is still a child.
I understand that it was marketed as a kids movie, but again, watching it, would not say that as a kid I would have found it enjoyable whatsoever.
Well, how do you
I,
know?
I mean, I just
I mean, I guess you.
I
I
don't
guess
know,
with
right?
with
Because
Robin
I'm not a
Hood, you
child
were,
anymore.
yeah. I guess with Robin Hood,
Not a
you were
child
kind of
anymore, but
traumatized as an adult watching it. But
yeah, I mean, the witch in Robin Hood is freaky as hell, even as an adult, with
that
her
is true. I'll
one
give you that
discolored
one.
eye and cutting her hand and spitting into a vat and mixing it around with her fingernail. Like, yeah, not
I'm
sure
just saying, man. If you're
sure
gonna
what
think,
little 7-year-old Zach was getting enjoyment out of that movie from.
I think I was younger than that actually.
Even better. And then Willow. I mean, shoot, in the first scene again, talking about killing all the lady babies that come out and killing their moms, and a midwife gets mauled by what they call dogs and is like a mix between a dog and a warthog in this
hmm
movie.
It's pretty gross.
Starts
Pretty
off
gross,
starts off with a lot of killing, a lot of killing
dude.
in the movie.
Dude, there is no. You are just freaking messing with me. There is no way that you think that Homeward Bound and Hocus Pocus are better than those two movies, dude. Not as a, I'm not
Again,
take out the child stuff. We're talking about the quality of the movie. These are our childhood movies, meaning
and this will
obviously it's
be
like you said, we both had different childhoods.
yes.
I mean,
Well,
don't
which is
like
also maybe the reason I placed them both so low is because they were not from my childhood. So it would be tough to place them above two movies that I watched over and over and over again in my childhood. Yeah, the I will argue, I'll concede the fact that Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves is a better made movie and is more of a complete movie than Hocus Pocus and Homeward Bound. But as a childhood movie, I'm gonna have to place these two at the very bottom. But
it's
just
borderline.
because a movie is more critically acclaimed and a well-rounded movie does not necessarily mean that I enjoy it better.
My God, man, dude, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
dude, there is no way. You're just like messing with me. There's no way that
Nope.
you think that that's. Oh goodness, we're gonna have to split the
I
difference
did.
because
I did
I got,
two. I did two iterations of my lists, and both times I'm looking at my list right here. I got Willow at 10, Robin Hood at 9 on both. And again, it's probably because don't consider Robin Hood a child movie and wasn't a fan of Willow as a child and did not think it was a very good movie as I was watching it.
goodness gracious.
I know it.
But I mean, I knew this was. I mean, Willow, I kind of expected to be at the end because you're not that much of a George Lucas fan. But goodness, dude, that ain't that. Yeah, I'm all right with putting like Willow at 8 or
All right,
something like
so
that. Freaking definitely not Robin Hood. I have Robin Hood at
so
number
give me.
3. Yeah, dude, my
Woo,
obvious, and I said that earlier. My
that's tough.
obvious answer is
Tough.
Homeward Bound. I got Hocus Pocus at 10 and Homeward Bound at 9. Which, granted, to be
Killing
fair,
you.
I I'm not that much of an animal lover, so it's watching Homeward Bound. It was still. I mean, I didn't dislike it, and I like how they use the animals and how they were trained and stuff. But man,
Oh, I thought it was
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah,
The
yeah.
fact that the voiceovers just play
Oh, I thought it
perfectly
worked.
on what the
I agree,
animals are doing. It's and it's fun. It's a fun movie. I literally watched it earlier today,
dude.
and
How do
it
you
was
not have
like
fun watching Willow, dude? That's a freaking fun movie.
I
You got freaking Val Kilmer twirling his sword around. You got cart chases, and freaking yeah, badass freaking the bad guys look sick. I mean, yeah, they're evil, but I mean, dude, it's a freaking fun movie. Got Val Kilmer and Willow going down the mountain on a sled. I just don't, man. I just fucking the
that
great score
well
by
as a
James Horner.
snowboarder, as a snowboarder, I had a lot of issues with that scene because going down a snowy mountain like that, you barely have control when you have 2 feet down and you know what you're doing. On a sled, you have zero control, and they're able to maneuver a bunch of things. Willow is carrying a baby during all of this,
Uh huh.
doesn't fly off at all, doesn't do anything, is able to land perfectly. Yeah, not believable. Not fun. Didn't have fun. Val Kilmer's acting I didn't think was great. He's coming off of Top Gun, and then he decides to do this fucking
Because it was
weird movie. I, I,
it's
I
not a
don't
weird.
understand.
Okay, dude. So we're talking about what's realistic, like witches, like you found Hocus Pocus and Homeward Bound realistic that the dogs were gonna make it through the freaking Northern California wilderness alive.
Yeah.
Come on, let's not. Okay, dude. What? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You didn't win that battle. That's ridiculous.
And also Willow's hands, fucking distracting.
They're huge. They're huge.
They
They're
are
adult
they
hands.
are grown man hands,
They
and
are.
he's a
They
little
are.
person, and I found that very distracting. And then at the end, the titular character Willow himself is on the periphery of the last fight for the baby's life. It's it's the sorcerer that one part I did find pretty comical throughout the movie is the sorceress that they find originally as like a mole or something, I forget.
And then like every 2 seconds he screws up the
He's trying to
spell.
he's trying to
So
bring her back into a person, and it's first a crow and then a goat, and then I actually that was pretty comical. I enjoyed those parts. But then turning everybody into pigs at the end, and the queen
it's
has
creepy,
the
dude.
baby. The queen has the baby for an entire day, and if the whole thing is about killing this baby, well, what are you
We
waiting
don't know
for?
if it's about killing the baby. I think it's not
Apparently, it's
necessarily. I
like
mean,
and it was a whole ritual that needed to
yeah,
happen, and
the
there needed
ritual
to be
needed to
things.
happen. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if the
Yeah, I
baby
found
was
that
going
to
to
be
technically
very
die, but
confusing. And another part I did enjoy a lot about the movie was the Val Kilmer's character and the character named Sorsha
oh yeah, yeah.
when he gets the love spell dust on him from the brownies. Oh, the brownies, another
The
thing I had
brownies,
a
yeah.
huge
Kevin
problem with.
Pollak, yeah.
I love that it was Kevin Pollak, but he's playing like a Mexican or something. Like he had this whole accent where he was talking like this. It's like
Yeah,
what? It, and they're kind of just on the periphery. They're like on the sidelines the whole time. Maybe meant to be comic relief, but I didn't find very funny. But yeah, with Val Kilmer's character and the Sorsha, I thought that was there. I thought they could have spent a little more time about like a romance with those two. I thought that was pretty entertaining. And every time I started to get into it, they jumped back to Willow, and it was yeah, it lost me every time. So
goodness
this is going to be,
gracious,
like I said, it's going
dude.
to be a tough. It's going to be a tough rankings of where we're going to come to
Okay, dude, let
come
me
to
ask you,
agreement here.
where do you have Hocus Pocus?
8.
Okay, give me Hocus Pocus at 10, and I'll give you Willow at 9.
Okay, so then Homeward Bound's going to be 8.
Yeah, I'm okay with it being at 8.
Okay.
You want to put? Are you okay with putting Robin Hood at 7? I don't like Robin Hood at 7. I think it should be at least. Oh shit.
Okay. So
Dude, we
I
got
think
yeah. That.
we've agreed upon Hocus Pocus at 10,
Mm-hmm.
Willow at 9, Homeward Bound at 8, and
Dude, I'll give you Robin Hood Prince of Thieves at
I would
7.
like to do Robin Hood at 7.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, yeah.
All right. Let's
Dude, yeah. My
agree
heart's
that again, it's not a kid
my.
movie.
Oh yeah, well, dude. The only thing, and I think I even said that to you in one, either through text or one of our conversations. I had the Alan Rickman Richard Sheriff of Nottingham action figure, dude. And I had the Kevin Costner action figure. It had to be there.
Nice.
There had to be some target audience. But you are right,
No,
dude. I'm
I think it's because it's based upon, and
Robin
once we
Hood.
get into
Yeah,
animated movies, the Robin Hood animated movie is going to be top 3 for me in that
that's
in that
that's a good one, dude.
yeah,
Uh,
it's I watch that all the time. I reached out to Robin, my mother, for those listening who don't know, and asked her, "Hey, what were some of the childhood movies?" And right off the bat, she's like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the live action, you watched over and over and over almost every night for like 4 years, and then the next one was Peter Pan and
mm-hmm.
Robin Hood. So again, we have two live action of Peter Pan and Robin Hood on this. but I think the animated is going to be a different story.
Yeah.
So I understand. Yeah, I think Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, it did have a market for children. Not sure if it's an actual kid movie, and again, not something that I watched in my childhood.
Yeah. Fuck it.
Yeah, fuck
that's,
it, dude.
that's what you
Yeah,
have to
that's
say
your
about
answer to
everything.
everything, isn't it, Lebowski?
All right, so we got 7. What do you have at 6? Or I guess no, because you had okay. What are you thinking at 6 then? Because we have uh
We
10
have
through
10 through 7.
7.
So to recap, Hocus Pocus at 10, Willow at 9, Homeward Bound at 8, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves at 7, and then I had at 6 Hook.
I'm okay with it there.
Thoughts? Okay. Well,
I mean, dude,
let
I
me
love
know
that
what.
movie too. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I had that at number 4, I think.
Okay.
Maybe it
You
wasn't.
know,
Oh, I
I
don't
had
know.
it at number 4 in my first ranking. I'm going through it. I had it at number 4 as well. And then after kind of going through it and again watching all of these movies, I love the movie Hook. It's again, it's a take on a childhood classic that
Hmm.
I grew up with watching the animated version. And Robin Williams, hilarious in the movie.
Yeah, yeah,
I enjoyed it. One thing I thought, watching it is this is a damn long movie.
yeah,
Coming in
yeah.
at 2 hours and 23 minutes. I thought it could have been sped up a little bit more. Again, I think you and I talked about this. It's Steven Spielberg, so he's pretty much able to do whatever the hell he wants to do. And I
Right.
don't think anybody was kind of in his ear like, "Hey, Steve, why don't you speed up the beginning a little bit?" I don't think it's until about the 40th minute that we're in Neverland. And I mean, I again watching it, it's another one of those that I liked watching. I thought it was a good lead up. Peter Pan growing up, how he's on his cell phone all the time and he misses his son's game. He's afraid of flying. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
going on about how all windows need to be shut, and he's very anti kid. I thought it was great.
Hmm. Yeah.
And you know,
Uh,
I,
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Dustin Hoffman as Hook. I mean,
Dude,
he is in full character.
oh, dude, I didn't even know. Like, you don't even recognize him.
No,
Like,
not at all.
I didn't
Plus,
even
I
know
think
it
he's
was.
like wearing lifts or something.
Yeah, and
Because
by the time
I don't
I'd
think Dustin
watched,
Hoffman is a very tall individual.
no, no. Uh, by the time by the time I'd gone back to Hook as an adult, I'd already watched, Rain Man and a bunch of other Dustin Hoffman movies, but I didn't even know Dustin Hoffman was Captain Hook until, like I said, I watched it again as an adult. I mean, I thought it was a pretty good
Yeah,
performance. And then, of course, like I said, you
same
got
here.
the
Yeah, I think somebody like,
go ahead, bro.
oh yeah, I think somebody mentioned it to me, like one of my parents or something at when I grew up, and they're like, "Yeah, can you believe Dustin Hoffman is?" And I'm like, "What? That was Dustin Hoffman as Hook?" I mean, with all the makeup and like I said, I think he's like wearing lips and his teeth are all wonky and his voice is,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
he became Captain Hook for that fucking movie. And I think
yeah.
him and Smee are hilarious in it.
Oh,
All of their back and forth scenes
yeah, dude.
are just great.
Lightning struck my brain. Oh, that must have hurt.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Don't
no.
try and stop me, Smee. Don't try and stop me.
Oh
Smee, get off
crap!
your
Not
ass.
again.
Stop me. Stop. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Are you being all dramatic
Yeah.
again? And and I thought it was interesting. I never picked up on this as a child. Obviously, you're not looking into movies in that deep of context, but I thought it was interesting. At one point, I think Peter is talking to Tink, and they're talking about how he got to Neverland in the beginning, and he says, "Yeah, I didn't want to grow up to be an adult, so I ran away from home." But the flashback that we see is him in a baby carriage and the
Hmm.
wind pushing him away from his mom as she's going through, he's going to be in college and a doctor, a judge, something. And then Tink kind of picks him up from the ground and takes him to Neverland. So watching that, I was like, how do you, you're afraid of growing up and being an adult as you're a baby?
Yeah,
But I thought that was a little bit of an editing flaw. Not that not that that's a reason I would put it down any further or anything like that, but I thought it was pretty funny. And then seeing Gwyneth Paltrow, as
yeah,
young
yeah,
Wendy, that
young
was
Wendy,
great.
yeah, dude.
I almost forgot that she was in it. Before they even show her, I'm like, oh shit, I think Gwyneth Paltrow is in
Well,
this.
I think isn't Spielberg Gwyneth Paltrow's like godfather or something like that? I know he's like Steven Spielberg's
Oh,
pretty close to her family, if I remember right. My memory fails me a lot, so I could be wrong, but I want to say that sounds familiar, sounds right. But
yeah, no, I'm not aware of any of that, but I mean, that makes sense that you then put her in the movie. And
yeah,
the food fight scene in that
yes,
movie is, I mean,
well,
100%. When I think of a smorgasbord of food, and even as an adult, I think back to all those colorful foods that they have on the table, and Peter not like, I'm starving. Where's all the food? And everybody's just eating around, and Pockets is like, can you blow on this? And
yeah.
he's got his hand out. I thought that was hilarious. Even still,
Eat what? There's nothing here. Gandhi ate more than this.
Gandhi ate more than this. Yeah, I like there are a couple of adult jokes splashed in there that
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
you didn't
I
get
even
as a
wrote.
child, and then I'm sure the parents watching were, oh, wow, that's funny. And then
Yeah.
real quick, I want to say, God, how pissed off was Wendy when Peter decides to stay for her granddaughter when he never decided to stick around for her.
Well, I
Like all this
just.
time, she kept getting older, and he's like, "I'll come back." And then sees her granddaughter one time, and like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna stay for more Moira."
Why, hello.
Yeah, exactly. Like Wendy's got to be over there thinking, "You little son of a bitch!" Like I've been waiting 70 years of my life for this.
Get the fuck out of
You
here.
took one look at my
Just-
granddaughter, and now you're gonna stick around?
oh shit.
And then we can't move on without mentioning Rufio.
Rufio. Oh, dude.
I
I
thought that
mean,
I thought that was great. The back and forth with them at the beginning. You can't fly, you can't crow. And they're
yeah.
going back and forth at the food table, and what's a paramecium brain? That's a paramecium brain, right? Calling
Uh,
him a a substitute chemistry teacher, so
yep.
whatever he says.
Nearsighted gynecologist.
Nearsighted gynecologist. That was great. And as a kid, I don't know what the hell a
No,
gynecologist
of course
is.
not, dude. There was some adult and kids humor to it, but
Yeah,
I mean, when
definitely.
you think like you're actually, I mean, if we both had it at 4, I know you reevaluated your list, but I mean, for Hook, the costume and set designs were freaking mesmerizing, eye popping, and of course, I mean, John Williams' score just I mean,
Yeah, Johnny.
it pulls you
Well, it
into
was
the,
nominated. It was also nominated for 5 Oscars with the art, the effects, the costumes, and the makeup, and then John Williams' original music.
yeah, yeah,
And Ebert gave it 2 stars, which I thought was a little disappointing. But again, he thought it was a little drab. I remember one excerpt from his review is, in his mind and in the animated version, Neverland is this lush green island that's just full of life. And I think he said it looks like Neverland is experiencing a drought right now.
yeah,
But I thought it was cool, revisiting it. You could see the compass in the ocean, and you kind of see the 4 seasons on the island happening at one time. They go through snow at one point, and then it's hot
hmm,
and it's
yeah.
raining at another time, and everything's kind of brown at another point. And yeah, I kind of liked that, but I kind of see where Raj is coming from that.
So you liked
So
it. You liked it with
so if
Hook,
you're
but
if
you
you're
didn't like
thinking
it with
maybe putting
Willow.
that up, what's that?
So you like that in Hook, but you didn't like that in Willow.
Well, those are
Uh,
two different things.
get over it, Zach. Come on, man.
Yeah, come on.
Let's.
I did like some of the setting for Willow with the mountains because for those who don't know, I'm currently living in Vail, Colorado, so I'm looking out the window right now and I see snow-covered mountains, and I do love that. And about Homeward Bound, I think that might be where a little bit of my love for mountains and exploring and hiking through the mountains kind of came from. Is
Shit, man, it could be. Yeah.
these three pets going through obviously not a realistic interpretation of three domesticated animals going through the wild, but so if you're thinking to put Hook at 4, what did you have at 6?
Well, I was gonna. I mean, I had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at 6.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that's incredibly disappointing to hear. Okay, so if we're gonna jump Hook 2 spots, then what did you have at 4? Because then we're gonna have to move your 4 down.
God, what did? I think I had Home Alone at 4.
Okay. I had Home Alone at 3, but
Okay.
in my original ranking, I had it at 6. So I could I could settle upon putting Home Alone at 6.
Oh, okay.
Just an iconic Christmas movie. Again, I think similar to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I think it was kind of took over a lot of the culture, not only in the U.S. but worldwide. Home Alone was everywhere. I don't think they
Yeah, it
had
was
action
huge.
figures or anything like that, but as a kid watching Home Alone, to be left alone by your parent, left by your parents in Home Alone, you're able to do all the things you wanted to do. He's got that big ass thing of ice cream. He's watching rubbish, and he's
Yeah.
watching dirty
that's
movies and eating rubbish. You better come out and stop me.
that's what I wrote. I go, he's living every kid's dream, and that's to stay home by himself.
Yeah, yeah. And how relatable, at one point he's deathly afraid of the basement. I think as kids, we all have that one part of our house that we're always afraid of. And for me, it wasn't particularly my basement because we didn't really have a basement when I was growing up watching this movie, but my grandparents had a basement, and my grandpa had one of his deer heads like right at the start of it. So you walk down the stairs and you got this deer head just staring right at you, and I would not go in that thing for years. So it's kind of relatable, he sees the fireplace and it's like kind of yelling at him and he just runs away, and then by the end of the movie, shut up. And classic scenes with the aftershave. And I think it's great, Joe Pesci is in this movie in the same year that Goodfellas is
Goodfellas
released.
came out, dude. I wrote that in my notes too.
And I mean, you can kind of see it when every time he's getting hit, he's like, "Man, suck him, he's kind of doing that with his voice, where you can kind of tell, he's got to hold himself back from just being like, "This motherfucking kid, I'm gonna
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
ring his fucking," holding back all the f bombs that Joe Pesci's doing. And but again, if we're basing off, well made movies and is it realistic and all that, it is a little far fetched that a child, an 8-year-old kid, is able to whip up all these booby traps in such a short amount of time, and
Yeah, and
and
it's
uh,
like,
kind of stymie two adult robbers.
yeah. Well, and like part of the appeal to the movie is Kevin is behaving like an adult. He's he appears to be uh
Hey, he's fucking using coupons at the grocery store.
yeah, he's just God, I had it written down somewhere, but it's all right. Yeah, just
He's
doing household
he's
chores
shaving.
and
He's going to the grocery store. He's getting groceries for himself. he's doing laundry at one point. Like,
Yeah, it's kind of he appears to be as intelligent as his parents and even perhaps more clever, but I think that's where the appeal I could see from a child's perspective. But
yeah,
I also think that it's kind of a showing Kevin doing household chores could be Hughes using this as like inspiration for kids to listen to their parents when it comes to chores, like a wink to the parents in the
yeah,
audience that like, hey, this kid's doing them. Freaking, you better start doing them in your house
yeah.
too.
Why can't you do this? Yeah, I don't think I
Yeah.
learned to do my own laundry until I was like in college.
So
Nah,
someone's
I think I
watching.
was in high school when I did my first load of laundry, but I guarantee at 8 years old, that was probably the last thing on my head or last thing on my
Yeah,
mind. But yeah, at the same time, if you're left alone and you got no clean underwear, I don't know. Maybe as a kid, I just go, you know, commando for the time being. But
yeah. uh,
okay, so Home Alone at 6. Let's agree upon that. Now I had Princess Bride at 5.
I had it at 2.
Okay.
Because I mean it's another surprise to me, dude, because of how much of a Goldman fan you are. Like
Yep.
the
But this is going to
dialogue is
fall into the
so.
category of a movie I did not watch as a child.
Yeah.
I don't see it as a children's movie per se. You know, some of the dialogue is, as a 10-year-old watching this, I guarantee you a majority of the dialogue would have went right over my head. And it
Well,
would
and
have been fun to see the landscapes and, you know, going over the oceans and going through the woods and, you know, the fencing that happens in the entire movie. Obviously I would enjoy, and some of the banter back and forth with Montoya and the main character. I forget Carrie's name in that.
or Carl Yules. Oh,
Kari, yeah.
oh. Now I'm freaking. How can I space it? I just freaking watched it not that long ago.
Farm Boy.
Yeah, I mean that's Farm Boy. Yeah,
That's what.
Wesley. It's Wesley. God,
Wesley,
dude,
yeah,
what the?
Wesley,
Yeah,
yeah.
Wesley. How the fuck
So,
could I forget
so I
that?
mean, again, I think that I put it at 5 because it is a fantastic movie. It's hilarious. It's satire at its finest. It's a different take on a fairy tale. You know, it's very adult in that regard. It's not, you know, there isn't a lot of magic and, you know, pixie dust and things like that. But for my childhood, I did not watch this movie until I think I was in high school, and again, it's hilarious. I find it unbelievably rewatchable right now. But for the purposes of this pod being a live action childhood movie, the highest I could rank it was 5, and I originally had it at 8, and then moved it up.
Hmm. I'm sorry, I just had better taste in movies when I was younger.
Yeah.
Because I think one of the
So if
things
we're
with
gonna put,
Princess, I was just gonna say, I think I think my parents quoted this movie to me a lot because it's like you said, and I agree that shit would have went over my head at that young of an age. But I think my parents dug that movie a lot too, and so they would quote it. I think I watched it more for the fencing and the fighting part of it. I don't
yeah,
think I yeah, the
and I
whole
think
I don't think I was running around the house saying the word inconceivable all the time. You
inconceivable.
know,
I don't think you know what that word
what that
means.
word means.
And watching it now, yeah, it's hilarious. We get all the references, we keep up with the dialogue and its vocabulary, because it does have a great vocabulary with throughout the movie. But I think it was more, yeah, as a kid, I'm enjoying what I'm seeing on the screen. I'm not really understanding what I'm hearing from the actors. And it wasn't a movie that my parents or my brother watched at all. I don't think.
They
So,
found.
well,
Whoa,
we're gonna have
whoa.
to cut that out. Someone's out. Someone's walking around outside here. Guys, no. Hey, stop. You also stop. No. Uh, I can't. I see you both getting ready to bark. Don't do it. Don't do it. No. No more. And we're back to the pod.
Yeah, those nasty little cusses, man. I'm telling you.
After we took a break for our sponsors, we are back now.
Oh
So our
shoot, dude.
sponsors, Ludwig and Scamp.
Okay. Jaaron, I'll
Okay,
admit
so you had Princess Bride at 2.
I'm kind of being an ass. I'm not writing the list down. I should be probably. Are you typing it out
I
or
got it.
writing down?
I
Okay,
got it.
okay. So what do we got so far?
Yeah, I'm right. I'm writing. Yeah, for a recap after our short break there. Number 10, Hocus Pocus. Number 9, Willow. Homeward Bound at 8. Robin Hood, P of T, Prince of Thieves. At number 7, Home Alone at number 6. And then I thought we had agreed upon Hook at 5.
Yeah.
Where did you originally have Hook?
Yeah. I think I had it at. Oh shit! Originally, kind of like you, I revised my list and I can't find that list. But I originally had Hook at 4, but then I think I adjusted it to 6. I think like you, but I just yeah.
So I had it at 6. You had it at 5, so I think it fits right in there at 5.
Okay. Like I said, I thought I had that list somewhere around here, but whatever.
Well, we'll talk to the producers after the show. They should have been keeping up with you on that.
Yeah, they should have. They should have.
So then at 4, now again, I originally had Princess Bride at 5, so that has to move up to at least 4. I'm assuming you had Princess Bride higher than 4.
Yeah, I had it at 2. Remember, I think I had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at 7.
That is damn near blasphemy.
Yeah. It was, yeah, I think it was 7.
Okay, well, we're in the middle. I mean, going by numbers only, I had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at number 1 because it is my all-time childhood movie that I would watch all the time, that I thought was just fantastic. I was a total turtle head.
Well, shit, man. I mean, so was I. I'm not gonna lie. I had the pajamas, I had the action figures, I had everything.
Yeah,
but
I had blankets, action figures, I had those little rock'em sock'em like stuffed whatever with them. I loved it, and I still watch it, and I absolutely love the movie. I had it at number 1. I thought you were going to have it at number 1, so to hear
no.
7 blows my mind. But again, going by numbers, if you had it at 7 and I had it at 1, the middle ground would exactly be 4.
See, I wouldn't mind putting that 4 and putting Princess Bride up to 3.
That's what I would have to go with as well in this ranking. So we're going to put TMNT, although it breaks my heart, at number 4. And Princess Bride, yeah, I'm going on the record that I thoroughly disagree and am very disappointed. But if we're going on numbers and compromise, we'll go with number 4. Again, I watching it recently the other night, I thought, damn, this movie's dark. I mentioned it earlier before. I immediately thought Gordon Willis and Godfather 2. There are some scenes in this movie that I literally cannot tell what in the world is happening. It's so dark. But the sibling rivalries is great throughout the movie. All 4 of the turtles have different characters, which I think as a little kid, you're kind of every single turtle at some point. I think you're kind of a rapscallion, and you're kind of you're a little mischievous, so you're a little bit of Raph. And me, I love to joke around and be funny, so I immediately identified with Michelangelo. At one point, I thought I was pretty smart, and I was kind of a nerd in
At
school
one
back
point.
in first through third grade, where I was top of the class, and I'm like, hey, I'll be like a scientist or something one of these days. So I could see Donatello, and then who doesn't want to be the leader of every crew and keep the steady head
Leonardo. Yeah, yeah.
like Leonardo does throughout. So watching it again as an adult, I'm like, wow, I can kind of see how not only did children kind of identify with one of the turtles, but I could even see how kids could identify with each and every turtle. And then the foot kids, the kids hideout that the foot has, like before they make it into the clan, it's just kind of their recruiting area. They got gambling going on, they're smoking, they're playing
Yeah.
billiards, they're skateboarding around, they got a basketball hoop, guys are graffitiing, there are arcade games. I'm like, damn, if I were in New York and this guy was like, yo, come hang out in this awesome place,
Yeah, I know. I know.
I might have wanted to be a part of the foot. Like,
Dude, yeah, I think yeah. One of the things I'm just speculating because I don't remember that far back, but I think the fact that the poor turtles were almost always outnumbered and they usually came through, but they were also all confident in themselves too, and that kind of yeah, I don't know. That's just something that I wrote down as a way. I don't know, man. I'm talking out of my ass. I'm sorry.
yeah, I'm talking out of my ass here. um, yeah, no, they are always outnumbered, and they always come out on top, and they're using their weapons more in the first than Secret of the Ooze. They kind of got more I don't know, streamlined, cartoonish in the second one, where things were just lighter and it was more fun, I guess. But
Yeah, yeah,
um, I love the little, when they're fighting, and Raph's on top of the building and he's fighting all these guys. He's like, "Come on, how do you guys expect to beat me?" And then like 30 more show up, and he's like, "Good answer,
yeah, yeah. Good
good
answer.
answer." And then later he's sitting there like eating an apple after they run through a bunch in their lair, and he's like, I hope there are more of them." And then
Yeah.
they more show up, and it's jumps right in the music, and they're fighting. And yeah, it's good. And then to see Sam Rockwell as one of the
Oh yeah,
kind
shit.
of
That
the
yeah, he is in
teenage
that
foot.
movie.
Yeah, it's classic, man. I saw him
God, dude, I
today, and
completely forgot about that.
he's like, "You got any cigarettes?" He's like, "Regular or menthol?" And I thought, yeah, Sam Rockwell was going to go on to actually, star in good movies and be a pretty well-known actor.
Yeah.
It was cool to see him. Same with Elias Koteas. So yeah,
Jose
it's
Canseco back? Tell me.
tell
He
me
didn't
you
he didn't
didn't
pay
pay
money
money
for
for this.
this.
And then like they get down in the lair after they're at the farmhouse, and he's kind of Casey Jones kind of freaking out. He's like, "Whoa, let's just talk about staying down here." And Donatello's like, "You're a claustrophobic. I never even looked at another guy."
Oh yeah. I forgot about that.
And it's just, as a kid, I'm like, "Woo!" Right over my
Yeah,
head.
right over
Don't
yeah, right over
don't
your
don't know
head,
what
dude.
that means.
Yeah.
And then watching it here, it's like, oh, that's funny. That's good.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I figured when we would start talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, we would have the same viewpoint of it. It's just I know that I
Yeah,
just didn't have it as high in the rankings as you did, but I
yeah,
knew we would be on the same page with what we liked about that movie.
yeah. Well, and plus, I thought since it was on both of our lists originally, what we agreed upon in the beginning was it would automatically be Bono number one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is my concern, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Once we toss that format out the building, we or out the window or whatever, we
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm happy. It can be where it can be. Princess Bride is it's a better made movie for everybody in the family. I would continue to still argue it until I'm blue in the face that it should be above Princess Bride. But for the sake of this pod and compromise between my partner and
we
I'm
we don't
okay
want
with.
to we don't want to fight so bad that we ended on the first episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And the
We're
pod.
an hour and 10 minutes in. Let's accept it and move on. Like I'm
Yeah,
past
yeah.
it. So Princess Bride at 3, and then at 2 and 1, we have two great movies left. It's going to be between Jurassic Park and The Sandlot. Zach, hit me with your number 2.
Well, it's pretty far back. Well, because remember, Princess Bride was number 2, but at 3 I originally
That's
had
true.
Robin Hood, so that is way farther
Okay.
back, and it's just fucking heartbreaking. It's just I just don't get it, but I like you said, I got to get over it. I got to get
Yep.
over it.
Well,
So
again, I think we kind of compromised on that
we
pretty
did.
well as well.
But in this case, with the last two movies, I would probably put Sandlot at 2. Even though, like I even mentioned
Okay.
how much I
I am
enjoyed
in.
watching it and the nostalgia that came with it. And we loved baseball. I mean, yeah, we loved playing baseball when we were younger, and even we played baseball together through high school and stuff. But yeah, I would say movie wise, I'd put Sandlot at 2.
I'm in total agreement with that. I think I had Sandlot originally. I had it at 6, and then I moved it up to 4. So with it at 2, it by process of elimination, it's moved up on both of our lists, and that's why we're having this pod, right?
Yeah,
Our debates, the debating that's happening, and the compromise that's happening is going to ultimately choose our list, and I'm happy with that. Yeah, like you and I both said, baseball was a big part of our childhoods, especially playing baseball together growing up. And it was crazy popular in the 60s where this movie takes place. The summer of 62, baseball was at the forefront of everybody's,
yeah,
it was in
Roger.
the zeitgeist. It had been around the longest. It was by far the most popular sport. Um, the NFL hadn't even been established. I think it was the AFL, and
Yeah, yeah,
the NBA, was just a twinkle in someone's eye at that point. The ABA, I think, was maybe getting started. Someone's probably going to comment and tell me I'm crazy because it started way before that.
oh,
Well,
you're
also,
crazy.
like we said,
You're
there's
crazy.
so many quotes in this movie, and I'm going to run through a couple of them. Great Bambino, L7 Weenie, you're killing me, Smalls.
Yes, yes.
Forever. Forever. And the classic, you play ball like a girl.
That's those two, and like Ham also he taught everyone how to make s'mores with his little
Yeah.
freaking
Oh, killing me, Smalls. That's the first killing me, Smalls. And it's, yeah, first and then you roast the mallow. Like, I just remember I really wanted a fucking s'more,
yeah.
watching
No, I
that
did
movie
too,
for the
dude.
first
I
time.
did
I'm
too.
like, Mom, Dad, can we go make s'mores right now? Like, and it's a movie about kids, starring kids, doing kids things. They're making wisecracks, they're playing baseball, they're staying up late, sleepovers. They're talking about girls and having a crush on an older girl, and the fun at the fair, and trying chewing tobacco, and I just
Yeah,
thought,
it's
man, this is a kids this is the kids, like they say, it's like, particular guys are man's men. Well, like, this is a kids movie. Like, this is,
yeah, it's also kind of a coming of age period too. Not
yeah.
like an ultimate coming of age movie, but it's yeah, it's your oh, how would I say it?
Well, I mean, like Roger Ebert said, it's a movie about growing up and facing your fears.
Yeah, yeah.
I
And
think a lot of,
like from a movie standpoint, it's not really even that flawed. I mean, it's a well made movie in my opinion, but that's I know I didn't have it very high on the list, but for as you were saying, for the sake of the ranking, I don't really have an argument with putting it anywhere you deem fit because I enjoy it. I don't think it's entertaining as hell, and like you said, it's almost the ultimate kids movie, I guess.
Yeah, it really is. And I'm stealing a little bit from Roger Ebert here, but as I was reading his review, he made a really good point that kids movies around this time in the '90s and even before that, like Bad News Bears and such, most kids movies were focused around like the big game at the end, and if and then winning that game was the last scene of the movie, and it was everyone's going out as, hey, we're like Mighty Ducks and the Little Giants. It's all about
Yeah, the big
beating the
game.
bad
Mhm.
team at the end of the movie, and that's kind of it. And in this, I mean, there is no big game. They play that rival team like halfway through the movie, which is another great Hambino montage where he's catcher, and it's like, is
Yeah.
that your sister out there in left field? Think she's naked? Like,
Shut up, Porter.
you think she'd go out with him? Shut up, Porter. Strike
Yeah,
three, you're out.
the big conflict or battle you want to call it is against Hercules, the dog, trying to retrieve
Right.
that baseball.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's
And and then James Earl Jones fucking comes out of nowhere, and it's just it's a cameo spot, and it's a great line where he's like, "Why didn't you just knock on my door? I would have got it for you."
yeah, dude, that is
And then
great.
everybody starts hitting Squints like,
And then
"We
he's like,
said that! Like,
yeah,
come on!
we got the ball back, didn't we? We almost got killed.
We got the ball back." Yeah, yeah, good.
Uh,
I mean, just it's such a fun movie. It is a really fun rewatch, and again, uh it's like 93 minutes, I think. It goes by quick. It's not 2 hours long where it draws out certain things and it's gonna play on your emotions in a real cliche
yeah,
way or anything like that. I mean, it
it
moves along nicely, and part of it, similar with Hocus Pocus that I didn't say earlier. A reason I identified with those two movies when I was a kid is I was the new kid in town at one point in my life. Moving to Nebraska from Ohio, I know what that felt like to be kind of the new kid, and how am I going to make friends? And
yeah,
at one
I
point,
hear you.
Smalls, he misses the fly ball in the very first try, and can't throw it anywhere, and everyone laughs, and he just runs away, and there's a shot of his face where he's like, "My life is over," and it's just like, he didn't make friends his first day, and he's the new kid, and his mom's like, "Have you made any friends yet? Well, you need
Yeah.
to try." Like, so
No
at that
shit.
point, it's also relatable for me on that level.
Yeah,
So
I hear you, man.
Sandlot,
I hear you.
Sandlot coming in at number two. I'm happy with it. I think it's like I said, higher up than what we both originally had, but I'm happy. I think it's a good number two. It is the kids movie, which leads to number one. Process of elimination in our ranking. Jurassic Park coming in at the top spot, which isn't too far off for me because I had it ranked number two in both my very first ranking and my second iteration ranking. So I am not at all disappointed that Jurassic Park is number one. Just a wonderfully made movie by one of the best directors alive. Maybe top 25 of all time at least. Yeah, just it's enjoyable on all fronts. It's you and I kind of talked about off pod that Robin Hood had some violence in it and it was scary, and you kind of said, well, in that same kind of argument, couldn't you say Jurassic Park is the same way?
Which
People are
which
getting eaten by dinosaurs, and
which
the
is a
first
fair take.
totally.
I mean it's like I said, and I know whoever may be listening to this, I'm not just gonna talk nonstop, but uh, this is one of those times where I just don't get how you can put all these movies to the back, but you can put this movie to the front.
dinosaurs aren't.
So I was I
They,
was
they were
I was
they were real at one point in the world's existence, but this is not something that can happen, right? This is, dinosaurs are never going to be in a world where humans are living. So I think that's how I'm able to kind of justify the perceived violence in this movie higher and better than Robin Hood. You don't see a lot of blood in the movie. There is some, like when the guy gets eaten on the toilet and then shook in half.
well, I mean that, but there's also Samuel L. Jackson's arm too,
The
and
arm.
you see
Yep,
you see a
that's
guy get eaten on the toilet. I mean, Jeff
totally
Goldblum's got his legs pretty messed up. He doesn't lose the leg, obviously. He's in the sequel, but I'm just, because I mean, the Prince of Thieves was probably depicted as, I mean, accurately as they could. I mean, there have been myths about Robin Hood being a real person, but no there's no historical facts about it. But yeah, it just
right.
I think putting Jurassic Park at number one goes against the kiddie movie because it's not really a kid movie. Because you putting Willow and Robin Hood at the back because it's not a kids movie, it doesn't work with Jurassic Park. Because you and I even talked
Well,
about that.
again, half of that argument was also.
No, go ahead, bro.
Oh, are you there? Also, the other half of that argument is it wasn't a part of my childhood. Those two movies. Jurassic Park was a big part of my childhood. I remember seeing it the first time as a little kid and just being amazed. They when they first get to the island and they pull up and you know Sam Neill's character is just like awe and he's starstruck and kind of turns Laura Dern's head over and it's like, oh my god, that's a fucking dinosaur, like the real. And it comes out and it's just and it's also it's kind of shot through kids' perspective with the grandkids. That kind of puts you in the place of a child going through this and how terrifying it could be. But then they do lighten it up with the dinosaurs sneezing on them and
Yeah, yeah,
them seeing the food once they get back and real fear. Not according to dinosaurs when little Timmy gets shocked. When the fence gets turned back on and he gets blown away, which I have some problems with because first Sam Neill throws a stick against the fence and he's like, "Well, fences must not be working." Like, well, I don't think
take a
electricity
stick.
flows through wood like that, so that's not. I mean, there's definitely some nits to pick about
Yeah,
the
oh yeah,
movie,
for sure.
but no, I can understand the argument that you're coming from, and like I said at the top of this, I think this is going to be one of the harder rankings that we have,
Yeah, yeah, that's
just
true.
because of like our definition of the childhood live action and is it a kids movie? Was it part of your childhood? Was it part of my childhood? Things like that. Yeah, I completely understand. But Jurassic
Which
Park
I mean,
was again, it was a worldwide phenomenon movie. You know, something to note about this. I believe I read Steven Spielberg used 55 computer generated images in this movie. A lot of the special effects were done animatronically as opposed to
yeah,
computer generated. When nowadays, I think Avengers Endgame, which I don't know if that's a movie or what, but it's I think it has like some 3,000 CGI shots. And for
yeah,
those listening
yes.
who don't know, Zach and I, we don't really acknowledge comic book movies of today.
Not really, not really. There's a few good ones.
You'll you'll never hear a Marvel or DC category from us on this pod. I don't think that's in our wheelhouse.
Yeah, I think I can name three of those movies, and 2 of them are Christopher Nolan movies. So yeah, it's not
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's not a popular. It won't be a
No, no.
category anytime soon unless we're running out of shit to do. So
Yeah, and according to your notebook, I think we're going to be set for a pretty long while.
yeah, we should be all
Um,
right. Should be all right.
no, and again, John Williams did the score, and one of the best to ever do it. So throughout the movie, it's kind of uplifting and I don't want to say whimsical, but the movie, if they would have used a darker score for the movie, it would have had a darker kind of undertone to it the whole time.
Yeah, yeah, for
It's
sure.
more uplifting in my mind, and yeah, I think it's similar to, I forget which other movie we had just talked about that's kind of for all ages. They're exciting things for kids with the perspective of the two children, and then dinosaurs in general, and how dinosaurs weren't even a thing in popular culture. And then after this movie, there's a fucking NBA team named after raptors, right? I
Yeah, I
mean,
know, right? Yeah,
they weren't really in the conscious of popular culture, and then all of a sudden all of a sudden they were. And then adult jokes throughout the movie that kind of went over my head as a kid. And there's some kind of deep conversation in Jeff Goldblum's character, and the
yeah, yeah,
chaos theory, and
yeah. The
why
how
things happen, and how things, almost existential at times, where life
always
finds a way.
finds a way. Yeah, I wrote that down too in my notes. Life always finds a way. But it's like, yeah, yeah. We talked about that. We mentioned that with Hook. Like, there's an adult humor, kids humor, and there's just it's. I mean, both Hook and Jurassic Park were big hits. Way more so with Jurassic Park, but yeah, I'm. It's like you said. It's a Spielberg movie that has
Yeah.
got dinosaurs. It kind of ushered in
Yep.
it ushered a completely new era for special effects, and it's just a terrific movie all the way around.
Yeah. And how can it miss, right? Steven Spielberg and dinosaurs, like, what, based on a novel. So
Yeah, a Michael
movies
Crichton
based on
Bible.
novels,
So yeah,
yeah, normally do very well in theaters. And yeah, I think I'm happy it's at number one. I'm okay with it. I
me
think you
too.
might be a little disappointed, but
I'm okay with. I had Jurassic Park at number one, so I'm more disappointed about
oh,
you. You know it. You know it.
look at
You know the
you,
movie.
look at you. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. Okay.
I'm all right. I'm all right with having Robin Hood back there as long as I won the ranking.
Yeah.
So
As long as your number one was
as long
number
as
one,
I'm number
I
one,
called it. I knew it the whole time.
I had to trade a few draft picks, but I got it. So
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That is pretty. That's a pretty good metaphor for there. Pretty good analogy for this.
all right,
Um,
Jaren
all
James,
right,
you want
yeah.
to go off the top 10 again?
Yeah, so that concludes our debate session. And to round things out, we every week when we do this at the end of the pod, we will give our agreed upon top 10. And afterwards, I'll announce the next pod that we're going to be doing, that we'll release after this, so our listeners can watch those movies again. But for now, coming in at number 10 for our childhood live action movies, we have Hocus Pocus. Number 9, Willow. 8, Homeward Bound. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. And at 7, Home Alone at 6. Spielberg's Hook at 5. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4. The Princess Bride at 3. The Sandlot 2. And number 1 live action childhood movie for the average jives, Jurassic Park.
And about
And
1,000 honorable mentions.
and a bunch of honorable mentions that maybe we'll circle back after
Yeah,
we go
sometime.
through a couple of dozen of these, and we want to come back around to these. Maybe we'll do an honorable mentions podcast about those 18 movies we mentioned
Yeah.
there at the top of the pod. Well, we'd like to thank our sponsors. Oh wait, we don't have any yet.
BF
So
Goodrich tires. Yeah. Little Debbie snack cakes. I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
Jack's Pizza coming
Yeah,
in hot. Appreciate all of their support for something I ate before the pod.
nice.
And next week, we're going to be coming in with another pod for the average jives, although we might release these all successively. The next pod we're going to be doing is going to be our top 10 action movies. This is not a category that Zach and I particularly enjoy and go back to a lot. So that's why we're going to do it early and we're going to get it out of the way.
Got to do it. You got to do it.
Yeah, but I've been starting to revisit some of these movies already. I'm pretty excited to talk about a couple of them. So I think
Yeah, me too.
this action movie podcast is going to be a good second edition to the average jives.
Don't forget to do the, what is it, Jaaron, the like, subscribe. What's that?
Oh yeah, and don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, whatever kids do these days of the average pod or average jives pod. We are only right now on Facebook because Zach and I are kind of living in the past and we don't have Instagram. But maybe we'll get there. So sign on to Facebook and like, subscribe, follow us, comment on anything you deem worthy, and let us know how wrong we are. Or you can agree with me and obviously Zach because he's got the number one movie of the week.
I'm 1-0. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Cool. Well, hey, thanks for having me on, Zach. Appreciate it. Zach is our producer right now, so he's
trying
gonna
my best,
trim this up a
dude.
little bit, edit it, and we're gonna go from there.
All right, everybody,
All
have
right,
a good
cool.
week.
Thanks, Zach. Appreciate it, man. Good
Yeah,
talking
brother.
with you.
Yeah, adios.
Wrap. It's a wrap. Come back tomorrow.
Harry,
Fuck.